Libra, welcome to June. So Libra, no planets in your sign this month, but we do have a lot of planets across from you in the sign of Aries, right? So we know that Neptune moved out of Pisces after 14 years there, heading into Aries for, I believe, 12 or 13 years. So it's going to be an opposition from you for a very long time. Saturn, the planet of discipline, moved to the opposite sign, Aries, to you for 2.5 years. Okay, so there's going to be, opposition. Both sides want something, and Neptune wants you to heal and rest and be creative and to retreat back and to break karmic cycles. And Saturn wants you to show up and to use discipline. And so they're kind of opposites in some ways, but I see it as a time where you can bring creative dreams into reality. You can start fresh, new branding, new you. Okay. And so there is a lot of activity there. Now, also your ruling planet is Venus, and Venus will be changing signs this month. So it's currently in Aries, again, across from you. And then it's going to move into Taurus, one of its second best placements other than when it's in your sign. So June 6th to July 4th, you'll have Taurus in the sign, or Venus in the sign of Taurus, its own ruling. It rules the sign Taurus and it rules you, Libra. So this is going to bring some harmony and beauty into the situation too. Now, you always form a square with the sign Cancer because Cancer is a cardinal sign and you're a cardinal sign, Libra. Cardinal means you push forward the season, and Libra, you push forward fall, and Cancer pushes forward summer. And we know we have the summer solstice this month. So you'll have a square with the sun in the sign of Cancer from June 20th to July 22nd. So remember, a square is a 90-degree angle. It's considered a challenging aspect. But you're going to be able to see clearly. There's going to be themes about, well, you always have themes of relationships, Libra, because you rule the house of relationships. Cancer is like the mom and the nurturer and the home life and moms, and you think of children, right? So you're going to have to, with this square, you're going to have to make sure that your bleeding heart isn't overgiving to everyone out there. You're going to have to be a little bit more aware of how much energy you're giving away. Now, Mercury, the planet of communication, ruling roadways and pathways, the delivery of information, is going to be in the sign of Cancer on June 8th. So, Mercury and Cancer, it's a good time for therapy, but again, it's squaring you. So it's going to show up and it's going to want something, and you're going to have to take it into consideration. Jupiter's going to be in Cancer from June 9th until July 1st of next year. And so that's going to be squaring you, which isn't as hard of a square because Jupiter's such a positive planet. But its shadow is that it makes everything big. So if you don't take care of these matters, if you let things slide, if you overgive, over-nurture, you could be dealing with Jupiter that's going to make it even bigger. So you're going to have to take a look at some of these things this month. Now, let's pull some cards here and see what you need to know. And I haven't looked at any of these cards yet, so I'm going to put a couple here on the table. This is my favorite new deck, Magical Hours Tarot. I'm going to give you two from there. This is for Libra, and let's see what Libra needs to know this month. We'll also give you a nice Oracle from the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and I haven't looked at any of these cards yet. Let's see what we have. Card number 1. We have Temperance, okay? So this is an expression of Jupiter. And we know Jupiter's moving into the sign of Cancer. We just talked about that. This is a card of the bigger picture. Jupiter's said to be the angel that meets us on the other side. Or some people say our guardian angel, okay? So it's a very positive, Jupiter's at its highest and best in the sign of Cancer. But Cancer always squares you. So there's always going to be this 90-degree angle going on. Now, let's see what else we have here. Card number 2 is the 7 of Pentacles. So it looks like almost kind of up in the air. This actually reminds me of an expression of Neptune and Saturn close together, because Neptune would be, or Saturn would be all these pentacles, all the things, the earthy things, the things of value. And Neptune would be all these clouds and up in the air. So there's some things that maybe you've been working on and maybe they've been up in the air for a while, but we can get down to ground here and get grounded and get somewhere with things. Let's see what your third card is. It's the Five of Cups. This is a card, you know, usually this is like a card of sadness. It's a change of emotion. 5. I like the sailboat in her hair up there. So 3 cups, looks like the cups are chipped and they might not be spilled, but they're damaged. But you have 2 cups and one is sprouting some flowers back here. And so there's a relationship back there that is, it's there, it's growing, it's available. And, you know, I was talking about maybe jumping into therapy. That would be a great way to acknowledge the pains, but then look at the positivity of what is going on, working on the relationship with yourself. All right, let's see what your oracle is. And it says nourishment. Waxing crescent 5, nourishment. That's cool. There's a giant egg. There's a piece of bread, a bunch of vegetables, fruit. The moon looks like it's a waterfall. Let's see. Hopefully you can see that. Let's see what the book says about the nourishment card. So this is the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and the nourishment card is card number 7. And it says, Waxing Crescent 5, choose to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Feed your values. When you are jealous or envious, it is a sign of what you are actually hungering for. Pay attention to your health. I choose to nourish myself. All of us have a set of values that are as individual as our fingerprints. Sometimes we aren't sure what they might be if asked, but unconsciously we know. How do we know? Because if our values are not being met or lived, we rebel. We get angry, sad, depressed, irritable, or stuck, or we take the chaotic choice in our decision making. And commonly, our relationships and life are not as harmonious. Let's see what it says. Additionally, it probably isn't an exaggeration to say that the Western world is obsessed by food for the wrong reasons. Food is often used as a pain relief, and many people are overeating due to anxiety or pain. Food becomes a diversion rather than something nourishing. Learning to nourish bodies purely, to give them what they really need, is a key to mental and physical health. And it's suggesting the stone emerald. Okay, so that green color, the emerald, and we see that this is a good time for you to work through some stuff, and it's also a time for you to get some dreams into reality. It's a time where you're going to have to look at some things. And nourishment, you know, I know, Libra, you're known for harmony and balance, but your shadow side is overgiving or stressing yourself out, not taking care of yourself. So this card is really saying, the nourishment card, take care of yourself, nourish yourself. Really, there's a difference between eating and nourishing. And so take good care of yourself this month. It might be a little uncomfortable, but it's the right direction for you to say no a little bit more and be a little bit more in touch with your feelings and sorting through them. All right, let's give you some cards here for week by week. And before that, though, I'm going to pull one more. And I like to ask the cards is, what is the most important thing that I need to tell Libra today? And we got a jumper card. Okay. And the jumper card is the 9 of Wands. And the 9 of Wands, a lot of times 9 of Wands shows somebody like carrying a lot or overstimulated. And she almost looks like she's going into the fetal position. Okay. But sometimes we need to go in the fetal position and it's okay. There's a lot going on here. So if you're feeling that way, it's a temporary situation and it's okay. Just take good care of yourself. So I'm going week by week here, and I have my cute little Everyday Witch minis, and I'm going to put a card on the calendar for each week. We're going with 5 weeks. Let's see what you need to know, Libra. So week 1, the Empress. This is a Taurus card ruled by Venus, and we know we were just talking about Venus moving into Taurus. She looks like she's ready to give birth. So something new is showing up, something of value. We were talking about being able to bring your dreams into reality there. So it looks like there's some forward moving energy for you that first week in June. Week 2, the 8th through the 14th, here's the Devil card. And I'm telling you, I always get the devil card when I'm working on a big project, especially big business, and I have to make choices. Interesting how he's like tempting these teenagers with ice cream and money, and not the best guy there, huh? So the devil card wants us to look at all of our shadowy things, our old storylines, our old trauma. And that was kind of coming up. This is a good time for therapy for you. This is a good time to look at the things that maybe you've stored deep down inside that you just haven't dealt with, okay? 2 major arcanas, major secret of life cards, a little bit more powerful, just like the temperance card up there. Week 3, this is Father's Day week, the 15th through 21st. Here's the Queen of Swords showing up. So she's the Queen of Air. You're an air sign, Libra. This is you. So she is very familiar with having to say no, having to be very logical and to the point. Okay. And I know she's not always comfortable. I know when I get her a lot, I'm like, oh, why do I keep getting her? And I sometimes forget she's a queen. That's still a good thing. But she's a queen of boundaries, and you're going to need to make them. And especially this Father's Day week. The 22nd to the 28th, you have the Page of Wands here. Seems like the energy lightens up a little bit. Looks like he's going on an adventure, kind of young energy. Has some fun vibes to it. And then the week of the 29th, which goes into July 4th week, and you have the 7 of Wands. And it looks like everything's being orchestrated. You're kind of in charge here, and everything's starting to come together, but it feels like there's a lot going on. Okay. So you have to take care of yourself, as we have stated many times here. All right, let's roll some dice. And we've got Venus in the sign of Sagittarius in the, what does that say? 5th? No, what does that say? Third house. Venus, Sag, 3rd house. Okay, so Venus, your ruling planet. We're talking about it in the sign of Sagittarius, the freedom-loving sign of Sagittarius. And I've talked about this placement recently. I have Venus in Sag, and sometimes we can be commitment phobes, or we can be always kind of wanting our freedom or jumping ahead or just wanting to do our own thing. And Venus in Sagittarius, sometimes they say we can't commit. We can. We just need to feel free to move in the directions that we want to move in. So we see Venus in Sag, and we see it in the 3rd house, which is Gemini's house of communication. It also rules your local environment. So kind of like getting out and about, socializing, and also 3rd house communication. We were talking about therapy. This is a good time. Venus is values. Sagittarius is like the future. Gemini, house of communication. Time to speak about it. Speak about some old matters so you can move on lightly into the new matters, okay? Very beautiful energy. Now, let's get the charm bowl out here. And we've got our big punch bowl of charms. And let's see here. So we are just going to see what comes up. Have fun with this. We're looking for initials and names and anything jumps out to you, okay? And I love it. Just tossing these around. All right. So most of it landed kind of in the middle here. All right, let me flip over any letters. We got a lot of I's, which is funny because I'm saying like, think about you and don't just say, yes to everybody. So you got a lot of I's. Focus on you. All right, now I have the word pin, P-I-N, pan, the name Hank, H-A-N-K. Let's see, anything else that I see? An O over here, an A over here. We got one more I over there. Okay. All right, let's start at the top. We have a moon up at the top. We have a queen's crown here. This is actually on the 6th. We have a crown and we have a horse-drawn carriage. Okay. So there's some movement and there's royal energy there. On the 7th, we have the letter A. Got a little I over here on the side. We'll call that the 14th. Looks like AI. Got a battleship on the 10th. And then we go into the following week. It's where the real activity is. We have the word in between the 15th and the 16th. The 18th is chock full. We got a tree, a dragonfly, a little joker, a 5 of clubs, and a little symbol for Mary. So 18th is full. The 19th, you've got the little Monopoly shoe and a pearl, okay, on the 19th. Then over on the 21st, you have like an open book here. We've got another eye on the 22nd, right on top of the Page of Wands. We have a P on the 23rd, another eye on the 24th with a little mermaid. Now, remember, between the 24th and the 25th, it's like the luckiest 24 hours of the year, so make note of that. There's more info on that in the June month ahead if you haven't listened yet. Got Mr. Music here, a little music store in Boston, and we got a little pic there on the 25th. The 26th, you have a moon and a circle and a turtle and the number 6. A lot of energy, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, and also the 18th and 19th. The 27th, the letter H. Got the word high, you got the word hip, and let's see, a little castle and an H on the 27th. We have a K on the 1st of July with the sun, little castle on the 2nd of July. Have the word AKA, otherwise known as. Anything else? All right, we'll see if you see any initials, anything that makes sense to you. And let me give you some power days here, because I feel like there's a word that I'm just not seeing that's like right in front of me. Pink, P-I-N-K. Okay. All right. So where are we? We are in June and we are looking for dates to give you. And you rolled Venus first and you are Venus rule. Let's see. So we're looking for Libra dates and Taurus dates. And we know the moon is in Libra starting on the 4th. At 9:38 a.m. through the 5th and the 6th until 10:23 a.m. We also get Taurus because Taurus is ruled by Venus. And so you get power days on Friday the 20th at 9:53 p.m. through the weekend, through the 21st and 22nd until 10:57 p.m. You also rolled Sagittarius, and we have a Sagittarius full moon this month. Moon moves into Sagittarius on Monday, June 9th at 10:56 a.m. It's there the 11th and 12th. The full moon peaks at 3:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 11th, and so I said 9th, 10th, 11th until 9:55 p.m. And you also get Gemini, so you get a heck of a lot of dates this month. Moon moves into Gemini on, let's see, that's in May. So let's see, by the end of June, we should be back in Gemini, and that is on Sunday, July 22nd. So this kind of blends into the Taurus dates also that I gave you. So you really get from the Friday the 20th at 9:53 p.m. through the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th until 11:44 p.m. These are power times for you, Libra, and thank you so much for joining me.